Hello there. We need to talk about the weird moment that we're having with rugby right now. And I'm not talking about the kind of weird moment that I had in the late 90s when I was a cable runner for Sky Sport and somehow ended up in a changing room under Rugby Park in Hamilton where I had to deal with Jonah Lomu being naked from the waist down while doing a TV interview live. That's not the kind of weird I'm going into here. No, it's about the fact that there is so much focus on the Rugby World Cup finale today that well, our media yesterday was a little bit all over the place. Now, don't get me wrong, supporting the All Blacks and wanting your team to do well, I totally get. And I hope that they win the game. And I'm pre-recording this, so full confession here, I don't know how the game turned out. So go the All Blacks, I guess. But the concern I've got is how much of a focus that actually pulls away from other media. Now, we've just come out of an election cycle where there have been some serious concerns from people about how our media covered some really serious, complex issues where they dumbed it down or glossed it over or ignored it because it just didn't seem newsworthy at the time when they're trying to get everything out in a really quick succession of data points. But last night's news put 20 minutes, a third of their broadcast time, into the Rugby World Cup before any other stories, which means that stories that were important to other people that aren't necessarily rugby related got bumped down or not covered at all. Like the fact that yesterday was a commemoration day for the New Zealand land wars, or that there were thousands of people up and down the country who went out and protested in support of the Palestinian people and what they're going through at the moment over in the Middle East. Or the fact that New Zealand was the only member of the Five Eyes who at the United Nations voted in support of a resolution to try and call on a ceasefire and get in humanitarian aid to that area. That kind of stuff got 3 minutes worth of coverage on our most watched, most trusted news outlet last night. And this causes other kind of knock-on effects. It glorifies a sport in a way that shouldn't probably be glorified on such a scale. And don't get me wrong, being involved in sport and celebrating and supporting it, that is absolutely fine. But giving it unrealistic expectations has some knock-on effects. Like the fact that for 13 years or over 13 years, ACC put out 600,000 claims around head injuries caused by rugby. In fact, it was the largest cause of claims to ACC in that period. And that there are some really serious discrepancies there around how that affects Māori and Pacifica players, because they tend not to report anywhere near as much, so they suffer long-term effects more. But when Rugby New Zealand and ACC were asked about this, they actually hid the report and colluded with each other while the press was sitting there trying to do some investigation on it. And that kind of thing is really important. We need to make sure that we're not glorifying something that's going to get people hurt over the actual news of the day where people are actually getting hurt. And like I said, I really do hope that the All Blacks do well. I really hope that people enjoy the game and have enjoyed the tournament, but it's not the sort of thing that should be dominating our media cycle in such a way that it downplays the seriousness of issues that are happening all over the world and all over the country.